Hey Patrick.
Hey Mark, hi, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing fine as well. I just have this one issue with my feet lately. I think I might be at a point where I do work out too much, and it feels like that my Achilles, what is it called? Achilles Sehne? Oh, sorry,
Heel?
I'm a German.
Achilles heel?
Achilles heel, exactly. That it might be a little bit injured. So yeah, I might should take a little break from workouts. But it's yeah, I enjoy working out, and sometimes you have to train through pain. But I think this one would be pretty bad to train through. You have to take it seriously with Achilles heel. So yeah. Besides this, I'm doing pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, be careful and just, I guess, train the other parts of your body or in the meantime.
It's not that I train my Achilles heel on purpose. It's just I walk too much, I guess.
Ah,
So
yeah, you
yeah,
mentioned this, yeah, that you walk a
yeah,
lot throughout the town, so
yeah.
maybe that is why also.
Yeah, I don't have a car right now because I enjoy walking around, and I'm pretty near to everything that I need, to my family, to my business, to where I work out, to where I buy stuff. So yeah, I think it's just a phase, and you need to take it a little bit slower. I'm 33 by now, and maybe I'm getting old. No, 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 wrong mindset. It's just overtraining. I work out too much. So yeah.
Yeah, I think you just called me almost 40 earlier today, so I shouldn't be talking about age at the moment.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Do you want to get into crypto?
Of course.
Okay, perfect. Over the last week, do you have any changes in your portfolio? Anything significant?
Yes.
Hmm.
I increased my position in Albridge, which is
Hmm.
a bridge protocol from Ukraine. It's a tiny cap protocol that's right now, I think, not even in the top 1200 at CoinGecko, so it's relatively small. I just really like them, so I'm slowly accumulating them. But yeah, I'm building up a decent position at the moment.
Hmm. Um, I know that you've taken deeper research into multiple chains. Can you maybe give our listeners a quick explanation on what do you like about Albridge in comparison to other things?
Sure, I think you mean multiple bridges, not multiple chains. But
Sorry, yeah, bridges, sorry.
yeah, no worries. I noticed that lately there's like as they say, a hot ball of liquidity that's going around all over the place. So different kind of blockchains are popular on like a daily or weekly basis.
Mm,
So I just thought that bridges would be very good in this sense because people will need to use bridges to move their money from one place to another since they don't
mm,
have money to put them in all at all the places at the same time. And yeah, so I did some more research on that because I thought it would be a good way to capture some fees from the people who move back and forth instead of trying to follow the people, you know. So I could
mm,
also try to follow them into the destination chain and then move my stuff to the next chain and next chain, kind of like those insects, what are they called? That yeah,
Parasites?
yeah, I guess you could call it parasites. I mean like the ones that go in swarms and they eat something and then they move on to the next place.
Ah, yeah,
You know
yeah, I
what
know
I,
what you mean.
you know what I want mean, right? So
Yeah.
anyway, instead of being like that, I thought why not be the bridge and get some a little bit of fees, and
Mm,
also the fact that right now it's a little bit bearish, so people are valuing fees and fundamentals more right now,
mm,
and bridges make really good money and also um, generally unincentivized money, so it's true. Yeah,
mm,
they're earning true revenue, so I think that's also a very appealing thing to have right now.
mm. Yeah, cool. And Albridge in particular, in comparison to other ones, that's your number one pick, I guess, right?
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah, it's my number one pick right now. One of the reasons I like it so much is I like their tokenomics the best. I think some of the other bridges like Multichain or Synapse, I don't really like their tokenomics, and also I like their CEO the best. So I also like to to learn about the people behind the protocol themselves. And
Mm,
thus far, these ones are the ones I like the best. And also because it's a relatively small chain but fast growing, and they had a recent investment from a fund that I like. So it's which is called Raise Capital.
mhm,
So yeah, I think they're just pretty promising, and yeah, they're very small right now, so they have lots
mm,
of room to grow, and they're adding new chains almost every day. So they're really yeah. I don't think it will take long before they have a lot of
mm,
chains and get a lot more traction. So yeah.
mm. And the market cap of this coin is right now, any idea?
Oh man, Yeah, when you talk ask me about these kind of numbers, I have no I've no
Mm,
clue. All I know is that it is not even top 1200, so it is like
yeah,
1260 or something last time I looked. So this means, yeah, I don't know what the market cap means, but yeah, I don't know what it is,
mm,
but it's very tiny compared to most
yeah.
protocols.
So I checked it a couple of days ago, and it was between 10 to 20 million, so super micro cap. So yeah, high risk, high reward, I guess. Cool.
Yeah, indeed. What about you? Did you do anything with your portfolio?
Um, I did just one minor thing, and so my allocation is mostly Ethereum right now, a little bit of BTC, a little bit of Solana, and I do have this 5% bucket of random stuff. Basically, it's not random, but let's call it random. It would be a deeper discussion on what I have and how why I have it. I basically got rid of one position, and this was Popsicle. So I basically sold all my eyes. Um, not because I think that Popsicle is a bad choice. I think their product is great and the idea is great and the leadership is great. I just think that right now the opportunity cost of having money in Popsicle it's a little bit too high for my taste because I think that other ones will outperform Popsicle within the next couple of months, like Phantom, for example. So I've basically put my money into Phantom, so I get a little bit more like the rewards of the growing Phantom chain. I do have higher conviction in the growth of the Phantom chain in comparison to Popsicle. So this is where I allocated a little bit from my Popsicle, so basically everything, but it's a small position into Phantom. So it's kind of similar to your thinking. Play the sell the shovels and not dig gold on your own. So yeah, this was my main adjustment. But besides this, just normal market volatility. I think my BTC position increased a little bit in comparison to ETH, but it's just due to the fact that um, BTC dumped less than ETH. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. Did you see, speaking of East, did you see the Vitalik interview on Up Only yet?
Yeah, this is one thing I would like to comment on in our what
Oh,
excites
okay,
us
okay.
section.
Well, let's move on
So
to that to that section then. I guess unless you have other changes to your portfolio.
no, it's basically this, and yeah, we can transition to remarkable things that happened, and I will talk about Vitalik at the end
Sure.
of our episode.
Okay, okay, sure.
Yeah, do you want to start with remarkable things that happened?
Yeah, sure. So, in my view, there's not much that happened this week, even
Mhm.
though, the market went down quite significantly, but for the rest, not much happened. So, the main thing that happened in my view was there was an AMA with Andrei Cronje and
Mm.
Daniele Sestagali. And basically, the reason why it was a pretty big deal in my view is that Andrei Cronje is a pretty, influential person in the DeFi space. Like, I would consider him probably like the grandfather of DeFi, probably since he
Mhm.
started Yearn. And he introduced a new tokenomics model. And there have been some blogs about this model this week,
Mhm.
and I would like to talk a little bit about some of the points in here.
Yeah,
So
sure.
the first thing that I would like to discuss is that he had this AMA on a show called Frog Radio, and I'll put the links in there. And one of the things that I really thought was interesting that he said, because he gave some history of the whole curve tokenomics and
Mhm.
also his new V33 tokenomics that I'll get into a little bit later. But one of the things I thought it was kind of remarkable that he mentioned is that he said, I like DAOs as a powerful vehicle for coordination for a singular purpose. And then he mentioned
Mhm.
the Constitution DAO as an example, where
Mhm.
a bunch of people they teamed up and they tried to buy the Constitution for several, I don't know, $1 million.
Mhm.
So he mentioned for these kind of purposes, he likes it because it is very, very singular, very easy. You just try to achieve one thing. And then he said, but as soon as you make a business out of a DAO, it fails horribly. And
Mhm.
I thought this was quite interesting because I think he is actually right to some extent. And he knows because he has a lot of experience with Yearn, and Yearn is even one of the most successful, in my view, DAOs in the space. So he has a lot of experience with DAOs, and even then he is still kind of bearish on DAOs if I were to rephrase it, at least when you
Mhm.
try to do it as a protocol DAO or in this case a business of a DAO. What do you think about it?
About the bearish thing about DAO or about the VE33 thing?
No, about about his last statement that as soon as you make a business out of a DAO, it fails horribly.
Mm. Yeah, I listened to this episode as well, and I was wondering why he thinks that way. I think he didn't elaborate on this, and I do think that it's really tough to organize a DAO to get specific outcomes because if you have a leader in the business, he basically gets everyone on track and says, "Okay, this is our vision, guys. Let's go for it." And he keeps the sub leaders basically accountable. So hierarchy has some benefits. I think pretty strong benefits. And I think that if you take a look at Kane, for example, from Synthetics, I think Kane is one of the best builders out there, one of the best visionaries out there in crypto. And as soon as he left Synthetics, I think a lot of things went wrong, and then he was trying to return. So I think he brings a really good argument. I think DAOs could make sense if you're trying to do things where you have a common goal and not like, okay, let's build something, guys. We have a specific goal, like buying the constitution, bam, buying it, we're done. But if you don't have a clear goal, I think it's pretty tough. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm starting to agree. Like, even though for me, like I'm a big, I'm a big Illuvium holder, as you know, and they are very big into DAOs, you know, because so they also have these selections and stuff. So
Mm.
they,
Yeah, but they do have Kieran. Don't forget about this. I think they're not a real DAO. I think they are more like a community gathered around from a leader.
um, well, I would kind of disagree with it. Like, the DAO has a lot of power in this setup. Like they could say to change game or to do something else, or yeah, they have a lot of power in this construction. So yeah, I'm just wondering how this will play out, you know, because you
Mm.
have on the one hand financial incentives, on the other hand you have like the free rider problem, you know, where a lot of people they have the token but they don't do any work, and they are you know shouting the loudest to get certain things done.
Mm.
So yeah, I think on the one hand tokens are very powerful, but on the other hand, it's also creates a lot a lot of chaos. So
Mm.
yeah, I'm not sure on the final verdict with regards to DAOs this far.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, my second point is that so he had some blog posts, and what he's going to do, just for the people who were unaware, um, he will launch a new protocol on Phantom. It's called SolidSwap, and what it is basically a place where other protocols can deposit liquidity, and if they own a certain NFT, they get the fees from the swaps for that liquidity. So
Mm.
um, what's interesting about this is that he has some. So basically, normally, like let's say you have SushiSwap, right, or Uniswap or whatever.
Mhm.
If I deposit liquidity, I get paid in the fees from swapping on the whole pool, basically, but I get a fraction of it. So you get
Mm.
rewarded for providing liquidity. But with his protocol, if I add liquidity to there, I will get nothing if I don't have the token and don't stake it. So um, liquidity providers get get nothing unless they own the token. So it's actually kind of bad for people who like me who are liquidity providers, who are kind
Mm.
of like a little bit like like leeches or something. You know, we just provide liquidity, we get money, and then we move on basically. So I was wondering, because since Andre is pretty influential and his ideas get adopted pretty broadly, this could be pretty bad for individual yield farmers, you know, who provide liquidity.
Mm.
Do you have any specific views on this?
Yeah, I think that protocols need to figure out on how to incentivize users in order to provide liquidity, and I think they will do it. I think the idea is pretty new, and the whole question about okay, how will those NFT get distributed? It's something in the MA that wasn't answered, so I think it's an open discussion. But I think if you, as a protocol, for example, you don't give the value that you get from the swapping fees back to a user, why should the user give you your liquidity? I think there will be some incentivization for users to provide liquidity. It's just maybe a little bit more, let's say, user friendly because they will take care that your liquidity. It's like Yearn, for example, I guess. You put your money in one protocol, your Sol USDC, for example, and then they do whatever they want with the liquidity. But they make sure that you will get some APR or APY, and this is what I think. Yeah, what do you think about this?
Oh, okay. Yeah, you have an interesting interpretation that I didn't think of. Like what I was thinking of is that the protocol will put their own tokens on Solid Swap and give nothing to the token holder of the protocol's token. So let's say
Mm.
I'm Spooky Swap and I'm a Boo holder. I'm not necessarily getting the fees from Solid Swap. Like I think this would go to Spooky Swap, and they can do whatever they want. They can give it to also to the Boo holders, but they could also do other things. I think in this case they've already said that they would give it also to ex-Boo
Mm.
stakers, but just in general, just the general principle, you know. So um, yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. And also a little bit interesting is that you know, like on a yield farm, for instance, um, you just get farm tokens if you provide liquidity, but it doesn't matter if the swap or if the pool is very lucrative for the farm. So let's say I add liquidity into the Albridge USDC pool, and let's say no one almost uses it, but they have incentivized it with I don't know, sushi tokens every epoch or every week, right? Even
Mm.
if people don't swap that much on it, I still get those sushi tokens. Whereas with his tokenomics that he mentioned, the sushi tokens that I get are directly correlated to the swap fees that the protocol generates. So if I'm providing liquidity to a pool that isn't getting that much traffic in terms of swapping, I don't get that much farm revenue either. So
Mm.
in this way, it's kind of interesting that you're using the market to optimize your own marketing budget.
Mm. Yeah, I think this approach is pretty interesting because it brings up new questions to the yield farming stuff. We don't have the answers, but I think next week we will be a little bit what is it called, smarter. So yeah, I think interesting topic for sure, and let's see
Mhm.
where this all goes.
Yep. And then my final point with regards to this is that some a lot of protocols have popped up to take advantage of this new
Mm.
protocol. So basically, Andre mentioned that the top 20 total value locked protocols on Fantom by a certain date, they will get the NFT that gives you the right to the fee revenue. So what happens is that there's a whole race going on for protocols to get as much
Mm.
TVA as possible. And on the one hand, I think it's pretty amazing because he just announced it this week, and there's already like 6 or 7 sites popping up where you know that are trying to get that enough
Yeah.
billions in liquidity to get in the top 20. And one of them actually is doing really well. It's called VE DAO,
Hmm.
and it's already it has 2.41 billion liquidity at the moment,
Wow.
and it is the number 17 TVL in the world protocol at the moment.
What the fuck? Yeah.
So I think, in my view, this is way overhyped because I don't
Mm.
think those NFTs that Andre's project is
Yeah.
is giving out is worth 2.41 billion. But
Yeah.
we'll see. But you just have to, on the one hand, yeah, just be in wonder at people's yeah. I don't know how to say it, but y- yeah, curious. I don't know. Like they really catch the moment basically, right? So the 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 block isn't out for that long, and they've already made like a protocol, Discord, a website.
Mm.
There are other people to get it, and they managed to get 2.41 billion dollars. I mean,
Mm.
only in crypto these kind of things happen, you know. So I thought it was still pretty amazing, but I'm very skeptical with regards to these protocols. In my view, if you want to start a business or a protocol, you can't just do it on a whim just to make
Yeah.
just to
I
catch an
agree.
opportunity. You need the right people, and yeah, you don't do that in one week basically.
Mm.
No matter how hard working these people may be.
Yeah. I think you bring up a pretty good point, and I think it's due to the fact that the market is going down right now, so people are looking to ways to make money, and I think they will be creative. And I think we now reached a point where it's even for us pretty tough to understand the products. It's not like putting liquidity in a pool and you get a reward. It's just like, okay, they give out NFTs to those 20 protocols, and then incentivization here, incentivization there. So it feels like that we reached a point where it's getting so complicated that things might go not as expected. So I wouldn't be surprised if in 1 month by now we say, okay, this was super weird, and it was making a lot of people really rich, but also the majority really poor because they were trying to ape into things that could go down a lot. Take a look at the Ohm forks, for example. they're getting slaughtered right now. So yeah, interesting idea. I like it. I think it's creative, but I won't most likely participate in it in a big way. A little bit, tiny bit maybe to learn, but besides that, I enjoy the um, I enjoy my ETH.
Yeah, and just have some popcorn and watch the chaos unfold,
Mm,
basically.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, what do you think? What's remarkable happened this week?
Yeah, I do have two things. One real quick. I think it's remarkable that actually Microsoft acquired or will acquire Activision for 70 billion. So I think the timing is interesting because it's when was announced that Facebook will rebrand itself to Meta.
I would guess November.
Yeah, I guess so as well. So right around this time. And I think that obviously you plan a little bit longer for making a $70 billion dollar acquisition. But I think it's interesting that Microsoft is trying to reinvent itself, and they actually are successful with it. They made a transition to the cloud ecosystem, which basically made their stock skyrocket over the last couple of years. And now I hope, because I'm not quite sure that this is their intent, I hope that they will use the coding power and the smartness of Activision to go more into the metaverse. I think this could make sense, but obviously, whenever you hear someone in crypto about talking about this acquisition, they would say, "Oh yeah, it's about metaverse." But I'm not that convinced they do it about metaverse. But I hope they do it a little bit about the metaverse, so they bring more aspects into their products, and Microsoft is basically implemented in so many legit businesses. This would be really great. Yeah, what do you think about this acquire?
Um, I don't think it has anything to do with the metaverse because Activision Blizzard has no experience with metaverse or anything like this. I think they are doing it because they want to bulk up their subscription business. So they have this, Xbox, what is it, Xbox Live or something, but then, yeah,
Mhm.
it's called differently. And they want to make that kind of the new Netflix, in my view. So they want to add as much content as possible, just like Netflix wants to add as many series as possible to their
Mhm.
service. And this is why they want to get a lock on a gaming subscription business, in
Mhm.
my view. And then with regards to the metaverse, Microsoft is entering the metaverse, but with Microsoft Teams. So, and they've already announced a product, I think October last year, or maybe even November, but it was before, I think, or before or right around the Facebook
Mhm.
announcement. So I think the metaverse angle is totally different, and I think people in crypto are incorrect in this sense.
Yeah.
And with regards to Activision Blizzard themselves, um, as someone who has been following Activision games like World of Warcraft very closely, I can
Mhm.
tell you that Activision or Blizzard is not what it used to be. So it's
Mhm.
not that great of a developer anymore. Most of the best people have already left. They've started their own companies. Some are entering also crypto, by the way. Um, so yeah, I'm not super hyped about this announcement. I mean, I'm happy for it, but it could, yeah, it's hard to screw it up even worse than Activision has done, so it will be
Mhm.
up, but I'm not expecting Blizzard to suddenly return to its former glory.
No, I think
Uh,
that's gone.
yeah, exactly. I think they also just wanted the the BattleNet subscribers, basically, so people who have
Mhm.
subscriptions to World of Warcraft and other things. So yeah, I
Mhm.
think this is why they did it. But yeah, it is definitely a remarkable thing that happened. I definitely agree with you there.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Then on another note, remarkable thing that happened. So you do know that I enjoy the Bankless podcast a lot, right?
Yep.
And I think the best part about them is that they have a long-term outlook and they don't talk about prices that much. And there was this really interesting episode. I think a week or two ago, I asked you what are the macro people that you're following. And I think Ryan and David from Bankless, they asked themselves a pretty similar question. And they came up with the answer Jim Bianco. Have you ever heard about Jim Bianco?
Yeah, I'd heard of him before.
Yeah, so I don't have that deep knowledge about him, but he basically knows his macro stuff when you listen to him. He's invested deeply into crypto from his own company, so he's not that super macro guru, but I think he's pretty good. So I enjoyed this episode a lot, and I think it's something I recommend our listeners to listen to, because he broke it down in a way, this whole macro thing, which I could follow. He was talking about, okay, what happens when bonds go up? What happens when bonds go down? Why do bonds go up? Why do bonds go down? What does this has to do with the Fed? And what power has Jerome Powell? And yeah, it was super interesting. And there was a really cool take in there I would like to hear your opinion about. It was basically the Arthur Hayes guys. I think he's the founder of BitMEX, right?
Yeah.
So they basically said, okay, Arthur Hayes has this theory, and I think a lot of more people have it, but they were basically telling him, okay, Arthur Hayes has this theory that the next 3 quarters might be rough, and then it will be really rough, and then it will rebound. And so basically that it's not compared to 2020 when COVID hit, but it's, yeah, I think we should be expecting some more downwards pressure over the next couple of months. Obviously, no one knows what will happen. Take a look at the episode. It's pretty good discussion. But Jim said also something that I would like to quote him here, because I think this was super, super good, and I need to get this more into my brain. And he basically said the following: don't check prices 38 times a day and say, damn, it's still at 3,100. When it's gonna keep going, it will. It might just be not anytime soon. So he was referring about ETH price. So I think this is super valuable advice. If you are right now in a mood where you think, oh damn, prices are going down, oh, when will this end? I think you need to expect that this might go on for multiple quarters, maybe a year, and don't try to build up habits that lead to toxic focus, and don't check the prices. Just relax. It will go up. The question is when. I think if COVID has proven something in regards to crypto, the whole world was basically, I think, pretty near to collapse right there, and crypto survived. So I think when things go down, crypto will go down harder, but when things will rebound, crypto will rebound really hard. So yeah, I would like to ask you the question at first: what do you think about take of Arthur Hayes, that the next 3 quarters might be rough, and then it will be really rough, but then it will rebound? And also, what do you think about the advice of Jim that yeah, stay away from prices, basically?
Well, I'm really surprised by the statement that you mentioned from Arthur, because I read Arthur Hayes' blog every time he publishes a new one. He does one
Mhm.
roughly every week or every 2 weeks, and I didn't get the same conclusion. So maybe there's something I'm missing there. With regards to it will become rough, and then it will become really rough. Like, what was his catalyst for turning the rough into the really rough? Like, what will happen that makes it really rough suddenly? Do you know?
I think a liquidation event at the end.
A liquidation event. Okay, I see.
Yeah, where liquidation leads to liquidation, leads to liquidation, leads to liquidation, and yeah, we saw this at COVID, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What's my opinion? Like, I already predicted like a little bit of bearishness at the beginning of this this year. So I think the year in general will be a little bit bearish. But yeah, if it's really the way he mentions, then I think I should enter more stables than I have. I don't have enough stables in that sense, and I'm too over allocated to crypto.
Mm,
Yeah, that's actually my main impression. And yeah, let's see what happens this year, Patrick. I'm not that concerned about it either way.
mm, yeah, I agree. I think it's just interesting to hear someone who is a little bit more experienced, who says basically macro will be tough and just relax, guys. It will be fine, and it brings me some kind of calmness now and then. But yeah, I just enjoyed the episode because it broke down the macro space, and I highly recommend if you want to learn more about the macro space, listen to it. Ryan and David are awesome interviewers, and they ask really good questions to follow along. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
Cool. Uh,
Okay, go ahead, please.
no, I was just gonna ask you if there's anything else remarkable.
Yeah, I don't know if that fits into this section, but it's a question I have for you. I have for you. So I know that you are a lot of on Twitter right now, and over the last couple of months, and I was wondering maybe you can give us a quick summary on what you see as the biggest pluses about being on Twitter, and do you think what do you think are the things that people should be wary about when they start getting more into Twitter?
Um, what do I think that what the biggest pluses are? So
Hmm.
I've been using Twitter for a long time. So I've always used it as one of my primary ways to aggregate information, even before I got into crypto, long before. So what I like about Twitter is that it's a platform where you can get in touch with some really, big people. Uh, yeah, quite easily compared to in other ways, So I would never email like some kind of hedge fund manager, for instance, or whatever, and I have no problem tweeting at them, and I even get replies every now and then. For instance, I had some DM conversation with Raoul Pal, for instance, a while ago. So
Wow.
these kind of things they don't happen that much in real life. So this is why I think Twitter is
In
a
real
really
life.
powerful. Yeah, I mean, like
Mm.
uh, yeah, I don't have Raoul Pal's phone number, so I wouldn't know how to get into touch with him in any other way, pretty much.
Mm.
So this is what I really like about Twitter, and also yeah, Twitter contains yeah, basically the opinions of the smartest people in the world often.
Mm.
So you can get a really good view of really interesting opinions that you would have never heard about if there wasn't something like this kind of social media platform. So this is what I like about it, and what I dislike about it is it's quite spammy, I would say. So, for instance, I turn off retweets on most most people that I follow, and I'm not even following that many people. So roughly, I think 80 or something right now. And
Mm.
even following that, takes me like I like to read through it chronologically. So I like to read every tweet basically that gets posted on my feed,
Wow.
and it takes me like more than an hour per day, so it's extremely time intensive on
Wow.
that. So I would say you need to find people who are relatively high signal to noise, and that is the hardest part about Twitter. Some people they have some really good points every now and then, but then 90% of the points are just jokes or or
Mm.
dog pictures or whatever. So yeah, it's really hard to get the information you want. That just yeah, basically I can't subscribe on just the most interesting tweets because I
Mm.
think the algorithm of Twitter is not that great. So you have to really put some work in to harvest the best information yourself.
Mm. And if someone is looking to get started with Twitter, how would you recommend he starts with it?
Well, I'm not a good person to give that advice, to be honest. I would probably look at maybe someone like Jack Newbold, I think. He is someone he popped up out of nowhere, and he's suddenly like a really big Twitter persona, I would say.
Hmm.
And he publishes like a crypto research and thoughts and threads, and he is just an interesting way to yeah, kind of a smart way to to get other people involved and to get other people to retweet him and stuff. Like he makes lists, for instance,
Hmm.
and where he adds at people and they retweet it, etc. So he uses some tricks to get pretty viral. I mean, if you want to get a lot of followers quickly, it's very simple. You just post controversial stuff on Twitter,
Mm, yeah.
and then people will follow you for the drama and will respond to you, etc. So
Mm,
that's not my my way of doing it, but
yeah.
it depends what your goals are, I guess.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you for sharing it.
Yeah, welcome, welcome.
Okay. Do we want to transition to things that excite us?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Okay. Let me start. I think you are pretty light weighted. Is this the right word? Light weighted?
Uh,
Light.
Lightweighted. You mean I'm pretty light on topics?
Yeah. Exactly. That's what I mean. So let me start. Okay.
Yeah, sure. I wish I was lightweighted.
Yeah, I agree. No, different agenda point. Yeah, what excites me? So I'm excited about two things, and then I have a funny side note. What I'm excited about is that actually about 5 hours ago we had a meeting where we basically talked with a couple of my friends who I work with at my company, at our company, and we will start wrapping your sheet, which people can take a look at on Twitter. I highly recommend it if you're looking for real alpha, not just like quote alpha, like speculative alpha. Just take a look at Twitter. OVO, you can find this yield farming sheet there on how to find the best yields on Solana. I think it's super freaking awesome. And we basically started wrapping this into a product, basically a more user-friendly way, because Mark is using Airtable. It's a sheet where you can publish your data, but the filtering is pretty tough. So yeah, I'm super excited for this, and yeah, I'm looking forward to build a great user interface and to see how people respond to it, what they like about it, some ideas that they bring up, and this is one thing that gets me super excited. Yeah, do you want to add anything to it?
No, no, I just fully agree. Like that's it's really exciting. So I'm pretty, and also I'm pretty stoked to to work with people from your company.
Mm, cool.
And also, I would like to mention that you made a video about it. So you may want to direct people to there as well to explain how it
Yeah,
works.
yeah, good idea. I will do that. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. A-
Um, yeah,
Anything
do you want
else
to
that
say
excites
something?
you? No, anything else that excites you?
Yeah, I do have one thing that excites me, and you basically what is it called? You front run me. You basically took my MEV because you mentioned the Vitalik podcast on Up Only. So imagine you are a big. I wouldn't call myself a fan of Vitalik, but there are a couple of people out there when they bring out content. I think, oh, this is so great, awesome. And one of the guys is Vitalik, another one is Naval Ravikant, but that's a different discussion. So whenever I see Vitalik goes on air somewhere, I think, awesome, now I will learn something. Now I will get, yeah, in the brain of this awesome, pretty smart guy. And I haven't listened to the full episode right now. I'm always halfway done. And this is one of the reasons why I think Up Only is such a great episode, such a great podcast, because they bring a super, super cool mix of challenging people with what you just said. How did you phrase it? Attention-grabbing topics on Twitter. How did you phrase it? Controversial.
Yeah.
So they basically ask controversial questions, but they put it in such a relaxing and smoothing tone, and it's super funny. And they will, I'm pretty sure they will ask Vitalik in this episode a lot of weird questions. So this is something I'm super excited. I actually noted down the super in my notes in caps, so it's really something I'm super excited for. So this is something I'm looking for this evening to listen a little bit more to it. Have you listened to it right now?
No, I saw a fragment where he was making airplane sounds, but I didn't listen to the podcast yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would call you a Vitalik fan though, and I'm not that much of
Mm.
a fan of his, but I do I do admire his his intellect and what he's built, of course. So I'm definitely gonna listen to it because I also like Up Only. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, cool. Then I have a funny side note, but also a question. Maybe we can talk about the question before, and then I will talk really quick about a funny side note. So my question is, ah, crypto might be boring over the next couple of months. So I was wondering, because the section is what excites us, I was wondering, what podcast outside of crypto do you enjoy the most? What brings you excitement? Do you have anything in your mind?
Um, yeah, well, I like I listen to a lot of podcasts, so I listen to about I would say 3 podcasts per day at least, probably more.
Hmm.
So there's plenty of things I listen to. If you were to give me like anything in particular, like yeah, I like them all, of course, basically. So it's like choosing between your babies. But one
Yeah.
podcast I like, and I think it's just a fun podcast, and it's relatively short. I think it's usually around 35 minutes, and the hosts have been podcasters for like 12 years or something. Yeah, for basically a very
Hmm.
long time. So they have a really good. Yeah, they're really good synergy, I would say. And
Cool.
the show is called Coder Radio, and it's about it's
Coda Radio.
Coder Radio. Yeah, you can go
Mhm.
there at coder.show, and it's basically about about programming, about Linux, about what's going on in IT. It's about making a company like having an IT company, what it's like to run it, etc., etc. It's about basically the IT landscape and the news, what's going
Cool.
on. And yeah, I think I really like the host. They yeah they synergize so well, and they can just predict each other's jokes and finish them, and yeah, fill it out. They don't need have any preparation for this. Yeah, it's just I really like
Mhm.
their interaction. So this is one I would recommend.
Yeah, cool. One else? Maybe you don't have to pick one, baby. One other one, or is
Well,
it your top?
but this is one I would say I like the most right now. I mean, there's some other things, but they are a little bit more niche. Like I like some World of
Mm.
Warcraft podcasts, for instance, but yeah, not everyone's into those. Um, Another podcast that I think is very, very good, but it only posts episodes maybe a couple of times per year, and it's called Hardcore History. I'm not sure if you've heard of it.
Hmm. No,
So
but sounds really cool.
yeah, Hardcore History is one of the best podcasts in the world, without a doubt. And
Oh,
it's
nice title, Hardcore History. Makes you really curious.
yeah, it's basically an amazing storyteller about yeah, historical events, you know. So they have different
Wow,
themes,
that's
and
cool.
the podcast usually they last like 5 hours or something. It's like more like an audiobook than a podcast, to be
Yeah, but
honest.
it's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, if you, I'm just jealous of you that you haven't heard of it because there's so
Yeah, I
many
will note it down
awesome
immediately.
podcasts. Like whenever there's a hardcore history episode out, and it happens
Mm.
maybe once per year or twice per year, it's like
Wow.
an internet event basically, you know. So
Mm.
people are very hyped for it. So yeah, I would say hardcore history. Check it out if you don't, if you like
That's
history and you
freaking
haven't heard about
awesome.
it. Cool. Yeah, man, you should really check it out. I'm really excited for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it hits my niche perfectly because I've been watching a lot of National Geographic videos over the last couple of weeks because I do feel the urge to learn more about history. And yeah, awesome, perfect, home run for me. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome, welcome.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, then let me tell you about my funny side note. So I actually got a pretty valuable NFT, and I won't tell you what it is by now. I could tell you maybe in another episode, but it's pretty valuable. And I noticed something, and I think it's a big learning. So when I see the NFT, I think, oh man, this gets sold for so many ETH. Awesome, awesome, awesome. But do you know what the shitty part about it is?
um, that you don't want to sell it or something? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I would love to sell it, my friend. Do you want to take another guess?
Ah, okay. There's no liquidity for it.
Yeah, and that is a fucking mess because you get an NFT, you notice it like 7 days after the distribution that you've got it, and you see how the prices went up, went up, went up. It got sold and bought like crazy, like 50 times a day, and now prices go down, and no one has an interest in buying this fucking NFT. So yeah, now I'm sitting on a pretty valuable illiquid NFT, and I hate that I can't sell it. So yeah, um, some learning experience. I hope that one day when the market will be a little bit more bullish and people will go out on the risk curve to speculate a little bit more, they are willing to buy my NFT. But for now, it's yeah, it's tough that you have a NFT which has a high paper value, but it doesn't have much value right now because value is subjective, and if people don't want to pay something for it, it's just yeah. I think how do you call it? You call it recency bias, right? So
Yeah.
when I take a look at the last recent sold sells and buys, I think awesome, this has this value. But if you have a really, really valuable NFT, you can't make sense of the price if the market is just not buying it. It might be worth a zero, and it could also be worth a lot. So yeah, this is a funny side note, which got me excited. And yeah, do you want to comment on that?
Um, yeah, I think you have an interesting way of looking at it. In my view, if no one wants to buy it, then the market price should simply be lower, and you should
Yeah,
post
exactly.
it
That's
lower.
what I say.
So even though it was high recently, that was in the past, and you know
Yeah,
we may never get there. So if you
yeah,
want to get rid of it, I would just keep dropping it until you can sell it.
that's what I'm doing, Mark.
Ah,
Every
okay,
single
okay,
hour.
okay. Every hour, man, holy crap! Then it's not an NFT on Ethereum at least.
Yeah, it's on Arbitrum, and the weird part about not the weird part, but the thing that bugs me a little bit, or it's a challenge. Let's phrase it like this: there are multiple people who I think notice that they have the NFT, and it's a bidding war to the downside right now. So yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty painful, Patrick.
yeah, yeah. On that note, do we want to transition to the Solana portfolio challenge?
Yeah, sure. Let's go there.
Okay, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. So last episode, my dollar value was 862, and this episode, my dollar value is 837. So I lost about 25 bucks. I did gain in SOL terms, so
Hmm.
I went from 5.69 to 5.96. So I gained roughly one third of a SOL. So yeah, I did bad in dollar terms and well in Solana terms.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, overall I'm not too happy with it. Yeah, and I'm still like amazed by the fact that the portfolio is still underwater in dollar terms since
Hmm.
we started the challenge. So yeah, that's quite
Yeah, the
painful.
market dumped a lot since then.
Yeah, still, but yeah, I don't know. I should have adjusted and gotten more stable coins or something. Um,
Oh, okay.
so yeah, so in terms of what I farmed this week, it was kind of an interesting week because I planned to go to Phantom this week, and then some interesting farms popped up that made me stay here. So there was
Mm,
one I think on I've already forgotten most of it. There was one on Aldrin I think for like I think it was MSOL USDT pair or something for like 200% APR, but it drops very quickly, way
mm,
quicker than I thought it would. I also entered. Oh no, that was on the other account. Sorry, I was gonna say I entered the Association Sol staking pool to have a
mhm,
chance for an airdrop, but there was on another account. And right now I'm in a pool called Orca. I think it's called Orca USDT.
mm,
So, and because I don't hold Orca, I use a borrow lending protocol to borrow Orca. So it's pretty interesting because Orca is not available on every platform. I think I use either Apricot or Solent for this. So this is
mhm,
quite interesting. Oh yeah, I was also in a UST pool this week. So basically, I've been in all kinds of pools. The yields are dropping quite a bit, and they're not super high still on Solana, I would say. So I'm tempted to move to move again to Phantom, but I'm not entirely
mm,
sure because I also think Phantom has been going up a lot. So you never know if
mm,
it may drop more than Solana would drop. So I'm not 100% sure on this. But yeah,
mm.
all in all, not the best week, but still outperformed Sol by quite a bit, so I can't complain.
Yeah, this was super impressive. So I think I've seen the data right now, and you increased your Sol portfolio in this week by roughly 5%. And if you would multiply this by 52, we have to 52 weeks in a year, right?
Hmm.
This would basically mean an increase of 260%. So this would be massive. Yeah, so this got me also thinking. So I was at the gym a couple of hours ago, and I was thinking, um, okay, Mark is building up his Solana a lot. You are roughly at 6 Solana right now. We started at 5. And I am thinking that as soon as the Sol price goes up, your US dollar value will basically explode, right? And I, I I think that's,
Why will
yeah,
it explode?
yeah, because you do have more Solana than I have.
If I swap it
So
back to Solana, that is.
yeah, okay. I don't know your pure allocation of you might be 50-50 in stable. And do you
Yeah,
have an
I'm roughly 50-50 and stable, I think.
okay, yeah, this makes me this brings me hope that I could catch up one day.
Yeah, you
Um,
could.
yeah, but for now, I think I'm the guy who is into yield farming but is not able to outperform Solana. I did it this week, so I gained zero point zero 0.07 Solana, but my US dollar value decreased by roughly 40 because the market dropped. I think we have a different approach to yield farming right now, and I think I can learn a lot from you. You could also learn a little bit from me. Let me give our listeners a quick recap of what I'm doing. So I'm basically my approach is that I took those 5 Solana and I was going for a mix between airdrop hunting and yield farming. So let me give an example. Um, Mark is, and I don't want to put a word in your mouth, but I think that you are taking a look at what are the best farms, the best APRs, and then you allocate your portfolio accordingly, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, and I do it a little bit different. I take a look at where do I get good yield, but not the best yield, but also where can I position myself to potential airdrops. And so I'm in Chest Finance. They don't have a token, but they already announced that they will have a token. I'm in Katana. They don't have a token. I'm in Friction. They don't have a token. And I'm also 2x long on Drift Protocol. And I've entered this 2x long when Solana was at $200. So right now, I haven't checked the prices all day. Solana might be at 130, 140, I don't know. But the TLDR is that I'm 2x long and on a pair on a token which basically dropped a lot since then. So my US dollar value is decreasing, my Solana value is increasing a little bit, which makes me quite positive because that means that these vaults are working like Friction, Chest, and Katana. But yeah, if there might be an airdrop, I could be really happy. But if not, I think your approach may be more like the higher APR on average, and mine is like the higher yield from a swing point of view if things work out. But yeah, I think we have a different approach, and I think about this quite a lot. And yeah, so the TLDR is that my US dollar value dropped because the market dropped. I gained 0.07 Solana, and I'm still in these protocols because some of them hinted that they will have an airdrop right around the corner, and I would like to participate in it because they don't announce if the snapshot already happened or when the snapshot happens. So for now, I think I'm in a super good position, and I just need to be a little bit more patient. Do you have any comment to this?
No, I agree. I agree with what you said. I think there will definitely be some airdrops out of the protocols you mentioned, and yeah, it's just I just have a hard time imagining how big they would be. But I could definitely see you suddenly catching up in one big
Yeah,
airdrop. But let's see. Time will tell.
yeah, exactly. So I think the airdrop hunting game is super weird right now. Maybe just a quick tangent, and then we will wrap it up. So a couple of months ago and a couple of years ago, it was basically use the protocols, use it once, and then you will get rewarded. And this changed, and now you have to do multiple steps, multiple transactions, and then you might be rewarded. If guys want to take a look at this, take a look at how Paraswap did it. They basically nailed down their wallets that interacted with them from over 1 million down to 20,000. So really, really rough restrictions. And the last airdrops I've gotten were super small because it was not in comparison to, okay, you interacted with us, here you get the full airdrop. It was per rata. So if someone put in $1,000 and I've put in $100, they would get 10 times allocation. And right now, I do see a little bit the shift that people are sticking to the per rata thing, but I also see that there is some randomness in there that you can't really could have seen coming. So the NFT I've gotten, the really valuable NFT, for example, it was I interacted with the protocol, and suddenly they said in the Discord, okay, guys, if you want to, just mint this NFT. It has no value, just mint it if you want to. And I was sitting there, and most likely the gas fees were quite low, and so I was minting it, and I was thinking like, oh, who cares, right? An NFT, awesome, looks nice. But that is also some kind of airdrop, I guess, for participating in a network. I think it's super interesting. So yeah, this makes me quite bullish that people are getting more and more creative on how they could incentivize users, not just from an initial point of view of airdrop hunting, but more like of being a user who's also active in the community. And I think I'm pretty active in the communities. I do follow them, at least most of them. So yeah, I think this is part of my equation. So I'm still bullish airdrop hunting, but it may be totally different in comparison to what it's been over the last couple months and years. Any comment on this?
Yeah, I say I would definitely agree with the being active part. For instance, I almost never get airdrops, unfortunately. That's the
Hmm.
downside of being just a yield farmer. And I got recently quite a big airdrop for my taste, and it was with Lyra. And
Oh,
I didn't provide any liquidity. I didn't use their, well, I mean, I didn't even connect my wallet,
yeah,
I think.
good example.
And I still, I still got a huge, well, for my terms, relatively huge airdrop just by being active on the Discord, being there early,
Mm.
and basically asking a lot of questions because they didn't just check when you joined the Discord, but also how much you've chatted on on the Discord, basically, to prevent
Mm.
people from just entering the Discord and then, just say I'm saying nothing. So yeah, I think you can definitely, yeah, you need to be pretty active lately if you
Mm.
want to get airdrops.
Yeah, really good example. I think people are looking for more and more ways on how to get the community actually involved and not just to play the game to 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 what is it called to trick the game. So yeah,
Yeah.
cool. Do you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, sure. Just one final point on the Lyra one. I think we both entered the Discord quite early, but
Yeah, I got
still,
someone as well.
my airdrop was a little bit bigger because
Yeah,
I just happened to be lucky to be asking a lot of questions because I was
yeah.
researching this protocol back in the day. So yeah, even the amount of chat chat traffic you have on on the Discord can
Mm.
make a difference.
Yeah. Um, really good example, and I would suggest to people if they just have a small amount of money, um, just take this into consideration that you would pick out not a token that could go 100x. Go about this a little bit more strategic. So obviously, no financial advice, yada 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 yada. You do you, we do we. But I think it could have a higher ROI if you basically combine the facts that the protocol does not have a token, and yeah, just get involved with it. You can ask questions. You can learn how Discord works, and by asking questions, you get more comfortable to talking to people. You can ask really specific questions. You will learn a shitload. And so I just recommend, don't try to play the game of buying tokens and selling tokens. That's a trading game. Focus more on that you will get something out of it, even if this fails, and even if your allocations go down, you at least learn something and you build up relationships. And yeah, it's not just about buying tokens and selling tokens.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, perfect. Then let's wrap it up. Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so yeah, I hope this was an interesting episode, guys and girls. Folks, sorry, Mark sometimes mentions that I should use folks, and I all the time say guys and girls. So I hope this was a good episode, folks. And if you have any questions whatsoever, jump into our Discord. We would be really happy to meet you there. And yeah, as always, have a great week and see you next week. Bye bye.